Hello, and welcome. Is it Saturday? Happy Saturday
Saturday.
to everybody, and welcome to our virtual menopause party. I'm so excited. I'm excited to be here with the ladies, and I'm just gonna go like in just some random order. I don't know, clockwise, counterclockwise. We have Kate. Kate, hi, welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. We have
Hi.
Bobby. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm
And we
awesome.
have Mel to the B, the male B. How are you?
I'm great.
I like
She's
your
embracing her
The
crown
queen
and
wave.
the green wave. She's embracing the crown of it all. All right, so we have a lot of folks in the chat. Thank you for coming. I appreciate that. All right, so people in the chat, we're going to get started. We're going to get started right away. And we just want to get you involved right off the bat. We want to know some things you may or may not know about menopause. And I'm still learning myself. So, okay, so let's get started. We're going to play this game. Now, I've never played this game before. I just kind of thought it up. Okay, so this is called Truth or Flash, and Flash is kind of code word for false, right? So I want you in the chat when I give this statement, tell us. And if you guys want to play, I don't know if you can write in the chat or not, but if you're one of the panelists, you can also participate. So the first one is, this is a good one. Now this is this is interesting. Truth or flash, you can still get pregnant during perimenopause. Is that true or is that flash which is false? What do you think? All right. Oh, we got some truth. What do you guys think? All right, Mel and Kate are participating in there. While you guys are putting your answers, I'm going to just say hello to some people. We have Keisha. Hello, Keisha. We got Carol Koala. I love that name, Carol Koala. I got to get used to these new names. We got Mel to the B saying, please like and subscribe. She's the moderator through and through. We love that. Thank you, Mel. We got Kate. Kate's in the house on the panel as well. We have Cookie. How are you? She's saying hello to everyone. We have Miss Brenda Marlene. Hi, Miss Brenda. How are you? We have the real MVP. I just love the MVP of it all. We love that. All right. We have Doses of Shani. How are you? Okay. Nora, she says, I'm here. Okay. Pamela, how are you? She's saying hello to everyone. And let's see. Oh, we got Doris in the house. Hi, Doris. How are you? Okay, so now we're down to people are saying what they think. So here it is again. And if you're at home, you can also play. You can still get pregnant during perimenopause. I wonder if this has happened to a lot of women. All right, so we have true. Has this happened to anybody? Has anyone gotten pregnant while you were in perimenopause? Geez, Louise. Brown Velvet, how are you? Brown Velvet Lady. She says, hey, ladies, I caught alive. Well, welcome. All right, so you guys are right. That was true. Yay! Everybody got that one. Okay, what about this one? Truth or flash? Everyone experiences hot flashes. Remember, flash is like a false, right? So we're associating flash with false. Everyone experiences hot flashes. What do you guys think? Okay, where does it start? I think it starts with Dr. Bobby. Okay, wait, maybe not. Oh, yes. Okay, with her. Okay. Someone is saying, where's Kate's tiara? Kate, you have to hold your head up.
Can you see it? I know it's my hair is. I have big hair.
She has big hair. We're
I
starting
needed
off
a bigger crown.
Oh, the big hair. We love it. I love big hair. Okay. So let's see. We have Bellflower. She says, "Happy Saturday night, Downsizing Diva, Kate, Bobby, and the Mail to the B. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate that. Losing it, Grace. How are you? Beauty and brains. Good evening, glamorous panel and chat. I love that. Very good. I would have to agree with that. Beauty and brains. All right. We have Wellness with Dawn. She says, "Hello, beautiful ladies from Canada. How are you? Welcome." All right. Anybody else that I didn't see? Oh, here is my bodyguard in my mind, child of the 80s, her and Mel. So happy to catch this live. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Okay, so we have Michelle's Mirror. How are you? She says, "Hello, ladies in chat, driving and listening. Thank you for listening in." She said, "Big hair rocks." I agree. So what do you guys say? I think, okay, so Dr. Bobby, I think you let us off. She said true. Wait, she said flash. Okay, Dr. Bobby is saying flash. Mel is saying flash. We got a lot of flashes here. Okay. We got a flash boss. Okay, very good. This is I always say this is the smartest GLP-1 group is the smartest group, right? It is false. Okay, all right. Here's another one. Truth or flash? Flash is false. Hot flashes only happen at night. And if you watch the Downsizing Diva, you will know how to, if you watch me live, you will know how to answer this question, especially Sundays at 2. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we have some flashes. Okay. She has a big capitals. False, flash, false. I love it. Okay, very good. Okay, all right. So you guys are correct. It is a flash. It is false. I wish it was only at night. Then I could reel it in a little bit better. But unfortunately, that's not true. All right, we have a couple more, and then we're going to get into the panel of it all. Okay, drinking alcohol or caffeine can make hot flashes worse. Is this truth or flash? Drinking alcohol or caffeine can make your hot flashes worse. All right, let me take this off. It looks like she's saying, yeah, I'm just gonna repeat the question because I realize people may not hear it the first time. Drinking alcohol or caffeine can make hot flashes worse, and we have our panel in on this. Okay, yes, I love it. Oh, Sin, welcome in, Sin. How are you? Okay, all right. Oh, okay. Cookie is so funny. That is too funny. Okay, all right. So we're starting off again with Dr. Bobby. She says true. It's perfectly Pamela says true. Doris says true. Mail to the B, true. Okay, Sin says true. The real MVP says true. Carol Koala says true. All you guys are saying true. Bellflower, true. And Cookie says, I'm a copy and say T. Well, now is a good time to copy because you are right. Drinking alcohol or caffeine can make your hot flashes worse. Okay, so if you're drinking lots of coffee and you're having hot flashes, you might want to consider that. If you're drinking that wine 3 times a day, you might want to reconsider. Okay, so this is the final one, and I think this is a good one. It's the final one for right now. We might come back to this. So you can prevent all hot flashes with supplements. True or flash? You can prevent all hot flashes with supplements. What do you think? Grace says, at least it was a good time having that alcohol. Yes. Can you imagine? And you know what? If I ever drink my little cocktail here and there, if I ever have one, I do get so hot. Like I get hot and bothered. That's one of the things I don't like about it. And this was when I was younger too, not just being, older here. All right. So I don't know where this starts off, but I'm going to start off with Mail to the B. She says flash, F, flash. We got, oh, okay, everybody. And you were correct. The supplements is not going to do, everything for that hot flash, right? Sometimes, depending on who you are and your situation, being in menopause and perimenopause and managing those symptoms require more than just supplements. So, and, hopefully we'll get into that. So let's get into our panel. So I am going to start with, Bobby. Let me take this off the screen so we can see your name here. Okay, so I'm going to start with you. First of all, thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. I love your videos. I love your channel. And what made me want to have you on here is because you talk a lot about menopause in your videos. So if you are a Dr. Bobby, fan or watcher, you're subscribed, and hopefully you are. If you're not subscribed and following her channel, you know a little bit more about, what she's going to talk about than the ones who aren't hip to you yet, but now we know, right? So tell us, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us, where are you on the spectrum of your menopause journey?
Okay. Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for asking me to do this. This is so fun. I love your channel too. Okay. So I'm Bobby, and I just turned 57 2 days ago. And I started perimenopause when I was 42. Ooh. And I did not officially menopause until I was 53. So there were like 11 years of perimenopause. And then, you don't know that you're menopause until a year goes by without a period. Yeah. And so I didn't realize, from 52 to 53. And then I was like, oh, it's been a year menopause. So maybe it was, I mean, it was 52 when I menopaused, or 53. I don't know. So it's been a few years now post period, and post menopause has been really different for me than before menopause. And I don't even remember your question now. Sorry. One of the things that happened to me with menopause is I was diagnosed with ADHD, which it turns out I had my whole life, but it was kind of milder and I could compensate for it. And then with all the hormone changes of menopause, it got so much worse that there were things I used to be able to manage that I just couldn't deal with anymore. And yeah, so that's why I don't remember your question.
Okay, so let me make sure I have this clear, because I have the brain fog of it all going on too. Okay, so you started noticing symptoms at age 42. So you're perimenopausal. Okay. Yeah. And then when you turn, so that started your, your journey. And then when you got to 52, from 52 to 53, you didn't have a cycle.
Right.
And technically they say, that you have to go a year without a cycle to be,
right,
considered postmenopausal. And that means you just don't have a cycle. And let me just say here, and I didn't say this at the beginning, because people may be like, why is this crazy lady having a menopause party? And I think it's a great idea. First of all, I like to celebrate everything that I think is great. And I remember I made a video about my journey, finding out, getting my blood work done. That was half done. Let me say that. I didn't get all the blood work I needed. I'm still waiting for that. But one of the things I did find out was that I'm considered postmenopausal with my, the blood work that came back. And so the first thing I thought was, which I have been thinking all this time, is no more cycle. that was it. And so I just started singing this song. I'm postmenopausal. I'm postmenopausal. I'm postmenopausal. I had to get that in. So I just started singing this song, and I thought, I'm so excited not to have a cycle. And I just thought, like, also, this is my journey into womanhood. Like, if I thought I was a woman before being a mom and all that, like, now I feel solidified for some reason. And I thought, why doesn't everyone see it that way? I just thought it was a beautiful thing. And so I just thought, I'm going to celebrate and talk about it. And then I saw the Oprah special, and she had Halle Berry on there, and Halle Berry had mentioned, people need to celebrate, being women, being in menopause, and we need to empower ourselves and embrace it. And it's kind of like, I feel like we're bringing sexy back. Da-na-na-na-na-na. That song with Justin Timberlake?
We're bringing sexy back.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're bringing sexy back. And I feel like, when women get over 50, even though it could be another chapter in your life, I think a lot of times we don't embrace it because society doesn't embrace it. You know, society sees aging as like, I feel like a negative thing. And I think my goal is to change that around and to say, you know, you can still feel spicy, you can still feel sexy, you can still feel, you know, fabulous. And, you know, you're not going to have the same body you did in your 20s and 30s, but gosh, my mind is so much better. I always say, if I could have this mind when I was 20, I would be lighting the world on fire so much more. Because you're so much more knowledgeable and wiser as you age. So I think we got to celebrate it and take the stigma off of, you know, being menopausal. So when someone, or, you know, having symptoms and all that we go through, and when someone left that comment like, okay, girl, if you're celebrating it, okay. And I said, well, why wouldn't I celebrate not having a cycle? Like, I've just been waiting for this all my life. So I am here. And we are here. All of us are celebrating it. So Dr. Bobby, so basically, you know, I want to know from you, what symptom stands out, you know, with you, like with when you were in your perimenopause, like if you could think of one symptom that stood out, and is it the same thing that's going on now, or is it different?
It's very different. My symptoms went through phases. And it started out at 42. I knew that I was starting perimenopause because I started having these really dramatic night sweats. And I had heard about night sweats before, and I thought that I'd had them because I would wake up a little damp sometimes. But these were the kind that I'd heard about where not just my clothes were soaking wet, but my sheets were so wet that I could have wrung them out. Like, it was just, I couldn't believe it. And so that started happening regularly enough that it was just driving me nuts because you have to get up and change your clothes and change your sheets. I don't remember how much, but it was either once or twice a week or several times a month. I don't know. But so these just fantastic night sweats. And that was really the only symptom I had for many years.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's not true. The other thing that happened is my period started getting wildly erratic.
Okay.
Sometimes really close together. Like, I'd have a few, you know, like a week or two apart, and then none for, you know, a few months, and then one, and then a normal one, and then a couple close together, and then another big gap. It was just like no rhyme or reason. And so that's how I spent most of my 40s, was just like never knowing when my next period would come and sweating through my sheets all the time.
Okay, so now that you finally had that last, your cycle is gone. Now you're postmenopausal, and so now you're in it, right? You don't have a cycle, but you still have some symptoms. I'm guessing. Do you? Are you?
Yeah.
Are they?
Well, what happened? I didn't know really anything about menopause except that your cycle stops. So I was kind of like what you were saying, like, oh, yay, my cycle will stop. That'll be great. But what I didn't know would happen is through all the perimenopause, your estrogen levels are kind of on a roller coaster. So sometimes they're really high, sometimes they're really low. And that was much more preferable to after menopause, where your estrogen just bottoms out and it's just like gone. And that I was not a fan of, and I was not expecting it. So after I menopaused, just all the estrogen was gone. There was no more roller coaster, and that made my joints achy. It made that's when I was diagnosed with ADHD, when I developed sleep apnea, which I found out, like, no one told me, but once I was diagnosed, the sleep doctor was like, oh yeah, that happens to a lot of women after menopause. I'm just like, wow. Nobody told me. And same with ADHD. They're like, oh yeah, a lot of women are diagnosed after menopause. It gets worse. It's like, no one told me. So no one, I didn't know anything except, oh yay, my period will stop. But all of these things from lack of estrogen really, your membranes are thinner. And so I was having urinary incontinence. And I just kind of thought, like, is this just getting old now? Is that, am I going to have to start wearing Depends because I'm in my 50s? Anyway, I do wear a CPAP machine now. But a lot of the other symptoms from the lack of estrogen were taken care of by starting hormones. The patch and a progesterone orally, like maybe almost 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. That helped a lot.
Okay.
So after menopause, it really took me by surprise how many symptoms or how many conditions I developed because of menopause, that having some estrogen back in my body helped. So I wish I had known that.
Yes, and that's why it's great that you're on here talking about it, because the people that don't know, now they know. They know to
That's
get
kind of why
checked
I
out.
am talking about it so much, because like, how could I have not known this? It's so life changing, and the doctor was just like, "Oh yeah, that's really common." And it's like, why isn't everyone shouting it from the
Yeah.
rooftop?
Right.
And my daughters, who are in their 20s and 30s, menopause is not on their radar, so I'm sure they're tired of hearing me tell them all this stuff about it. But it's like, I want them to be prepared. I want them to know that it's not just like one day you wake up and you never have another period. It's like, there are changes in your health that you have to account for. So
Yes, well, I think that's good. So you're a great role model for them, and somebody who has gone through it, so you'll be able to support them and know exactly how to do it. And you know what symptoms to look out for when they're telling you about that. So it sounds 42, and I do know somebody who went through like the whole journey of menopause in her late 30s, but 42, like that sounds like you. I just never associated before I started, learning about menopause with a 40-year-old as having symptoms. I thought like your late 40s, but so many women are having symptoms in their early 40s, like you experienced at 42.
Yeah. And then the night sweats kind of stopped at some point in my late 40s, but that's when the hot flashes started.
Okay.
So that's what I mean when I'm talking about things went in phases.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. That's so cool. Okay, well, thank you for sharing.
Sure. Yeah, you bet.
Let's go to Mail to the Beat. So, Mail to the Beat, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and just where you are on your menopause journey?
So, yes, very happy to be here with these beautiful ladies. For me, my journey, and some of you guys have heard this, maybe not like this, but my journey actually started in my 30s. I was diagnosed with fibroids. I had been married, had never gotten pregnant, never been pregnant in my life. And it was a concern. It was really interesting because everyone else I knew was. So I was wondering what was going on. And we later found out that I had uterine fibroids. I went through a couple of really traumatic situations, including doing group interviews, interviewing people, like 20 plus people, and having to get up, get water. I wasn't even by that point having periods, like nothing was coming. And I just started feeling horrible, drove myself to the urgent care. Urgent care took me to the hospital. My blood levels were like at 5. And so I say all that to you all to say that what led to me having an eventual total abdominal hysterectomy, cervix, uterus, ovaries, everything gone. And the reason why is because when they went in, I did finally have surgery. I was going to have a myomectomy, but we had decided that if they went in and there were more issues, I would go ahead and have a total abdominal hysterectomy. So when they went in, I had fibroids inside on the lining of my uterus. Outside, I had endometriosis. It was a mess. And so I ended up having to have a total abdominal hysterectomy when I was in my 30s. I went home, and the first night that I was home, I woke up in a night sweat, and I didn't know what was going on. Why? Because I wasn't really listening to my doctor in the hospital. Called her the next morning. She said, "Look in your bag. There are patches. Those patches have estrogen and progestin." And so that was the only night sweat that I had. From that point, it literally relieved me like the overnight. And so, so I ended up starting hormone replacement therapy and being thrust into a surgical menopause because of that. So that's where my story started. My doctor didn't keep me on hormone therapy for long. I think I was on it for 9 months and then stopped. And then fast forward to my late 40s, on and off, I would have like, not a hot flash, but I might have like a light night sweat. Nothing that really changed my lifestyle, but I did notice that. But more than anything, I noticed brain fog. That was a big thing for me. Irritability. I thought my skin was drier, like the quality of my skin. I've always taken care of my skin, and it was changing. So skin tags, it was just a lot. And so eventually I ended up back on hormone replacement therapy, which is where we are today. So super happy to be on it. But again, my symptoms were really, really mostly like the brain fog. I also will say to you that that midsection, which is part of the reason why I ended up with GLP-1 and like estradiol and testosterone. So right now I'm on all my things. This is my Evamist spray. So this is a spray, and you can spray it on you. I didn't put it on today, so I could do that. This is my testosterone gel that I use. And this is the spray. I'm using up the last bit of this because my doctor has prescribed me this gel, this estradiol gel instead. Why? Because the spray, apparently my skin absorbs stuff quickly. And Dee Dee saw this with her own eyes. Literally, my estradiol levels were at 523, like I was a 16-year-old girl. And my doctor's like, no. So I am now going to be taking this. So for now, I've got a couple more sprays. I used to take 2 of these sprays, but it was way too much for me. So I'll be doing this little thing on a daily basis. So I don't like patches. That's why I, have the gel, and I was on the spray. So yeah, that's kind of my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And I did want to say, you pointed this out, that so basically your journey into menopause was through surgery, right? It was surgical.
Yes.
And the other 2 ways you can enter in is natural, right? So natural, surgically. And then this is something I learned here recently, when I was going through my whole quest to know if I was, in menopause or not, or menopausal. Is that you could also, cancer treatments could also put you in menopause. I did not realize that. So, gosh, can you imagine like a woman who is going through cancer and she, probably has, close to beating it, and then she finds out now she's thrust into menopause. So it's like for someone who wants to have children, that could be a double blow. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
yes. Yeah. So that, anyway, I just thought that was something interesting to know. And I guess your doctor would talk to you about your options, because they have, you don't always have to do chemo. They have pills instead of the chemo where you get the infusions. So there are options. And this is why you need to have a great doctor on board that's knowledgeable to kind of guide you and help you along the way. So, well, thank you, Mel. We'll come back to you guys again. Let's hear Kate. Kate, what's your menopause story?
Mine was, by the way, hello. Hi, guys. Nice to be on here. Thanks, Dee Dee. So mine was pretty quick, actually. I had changes. So my daughter, I had her when I was 28. And so when I was in my early 40s and she was in her teenage years, I noticed my cycles started syncing to hers when she was like 17, 18. And so I thought maybe that was, not realizing that that's what that was, but my cycles changed. So I'd actually gone to the doctor pretty early, around 42, 43, and asked about it. And they did all the tests and they're like, oh, no, you're fine. And I was fine. I was fine for a very long time until probably I was about 49. I'm 52 now. And so I was probably around 49. And the same thing Bobby talked about with my cycles. I was getting them like twice a month or something. I was getting them more often instead of less. And I was like, okay, is that different? So, because you hear they spread out further and further apart, not that you can have them more often. So that was one thing. Another thing that I noticed, and this is kind of in retrospect, right, was I was really achy all over. I do have ADHD. I was diagnosed when I was pretty young, a young adult, but I was getting more brain fog. I was, had a great memory. I can remember everything, like phone numbers when I was a little kid, right? And I just couldn't remember anything. It was things like that. I noticed too, then all of a sudden my cortisol, I was getting more anxious all the time. So, I'm one of those people that can handle very stressful situations, multiple things going on all the time. I'm always the one, but I just couldn't handle the smallest little bumps in the road. And I was like, oh my God, it's the end of the world, And so that was really an unusual one. I did have a couple of night sweats, just a couple of times. I didn't have hot flashes. I didn't have a lot of the normal things that, I wasn't growing hair out of different places in my body that shouldn't be growing hair, things like that. So I was having very odd symptoms. Yeah, the biggest one, and the one that really pushed me, was I didn't have my period. Then I didn't have it I had it in May, and then I didn't have it again until November. So there was a big gap there. But also from that May to November, I gained 30. So this is just like November a year ago. I gained 30 pounds from May to November. It was crazy. And that's actually how come I went on a GLP-1. I went to my doctor, and she said, this could be your perimenopause. You're not having your period. And I said, yeah, I haven't had it. So she had me first before, because we talked about using Zepbound or something like that. But first she wanted me to get my blood work checked for everything. But also she was really interested in my hormone levels. And sure enough, she put me on estradiol and progesterone and all that stuff. So I ended up going on that first. She made me do that first before she would introduce the GLP-1 and see if she could figure out what was menopause related and what, might just be achy pains from weight gain or something like that. So that was really smart of her, and it helped, because I was one of those people that was eating right, exercising right, doing all the right things. And I was just gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining weight.
Oh my God, that was me too.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was so mad, because I've always been, I've gained weight over the years, just I've had 2 kids and, and I've just gotten older. So I put on that extra 10 pounds, so I was but I went from 140 something to 172. And just
in a short time too.
Yeah, in like 6 months. Yeah. And so that was for me terrifying, because, it just wouldn't stop. Nothing. I wasn't eating practically, just trying to stop. And I was, again, like I said, the cortisol level, that wasn't helping. So it was kind of a self-feeding situation where it was getting worse and worse. So as soon as she put me on the bio-HRT, my weight stopped gaining like instantly. It was just like, I went even before. So in those 2 months, I went from 172, 173 down to 169, where I had been gaining a few pounds every month. So that was crazy.
Now, can you explain the BHRT?
Sure. So the estradiol is actually the biological hormone replacement therapy. So I think Mel can probably describe it better, but it's the one that's natural and not like horse estrogen. I don't know. Is it horse estrogen?
Yeah. Yeah. BHR. Yeah. I was going to say that the difference between BHRT and HRT is that HRT is from conjugated horse equine urine. And so literally that is what that is. And then again, it is animal derived, whereas HRT, estradiol, is made in a lab. However, it mimics its makeup is exactly what your body makes. So that's the difference. That really is the difference.
Okay.
So anyway, go ahead, girl.
Thank you. All right, Kate, anything else you want to tell us?
No, I think that's it. Except for I didn't experience, what Bobby was saying about her girls wanting to know. My daughter has also been following along on this journey with me, because my mom had to have emergency hysterectomy at 45. So she never went through this. And my grandmothers didn't talk about it, right? And so, the older generations, I think we're making the difference, where we're talking about it and we're saying, hey, this isn't something to be ashamed about and that you go hide about. you know, we need to tell you what's going on with us. So when these things start happening, you're like, oh, okay. And so that they can get help faster, sooner, and not suffer for years like a lot of people do.
And I just
Exactly.
I just happened to look over in the chat, and I think this is a great point. Rita says the sad thing about going into menopause is the doctor blames the patient. All I ever heard was eat less and move more, or they gave me a list of food to eat. And can't we all relate to that?
We can
You
all
know,
relate
you hear
to that.
that all the time, and it's like you're doing it, and you're still not working, and you feel like you're not believed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
OB literally told me that to move more and eat less. And I was like, you don't understand. Kate, what you said was me too, that I couldn't lose weight, and no matter what I did, my weight kept creeping up after menopause. And hormones didn't fix that. They fixed so many other things, but the GLP-1 is what fixed it so I can lose weight. And I was so mad at my OB because I was like, you don't understand. I'm like eating right. I'm exercising. I can't eat less. I'm not going to starve myself. You know, I refuse to eat 900 calories a day or something. I know I need more than that. But,
and it wouldn't have solved it anyway, probably.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this is also tied. It's not just physical. In other words, as women who are perimenopause, as Dr. Mary Claire Haver says, that's the zone of chaos. If you're not feeling good and you're having night sweats and you have frozen shoulder, you're not going to work out. You're not going to do resistance training. Lower muscle means slower weight loss and actually just difficulty, because that muscle is like metabolically active, and it literally drives. If it was a car, if your metabolism was a car, your muscle drives that car. So, but again, when you're in perimenopause, who wants to run, walk, strength train? Like, nobody wants to do that. People are tired. People are angry. People aren't getting enough sleep. All the things kind of come together.
Yeah.
So, and there's Kate's story is.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, Kate.
I thought you were done. Oh, I was going to say I didn't quite finish my story, did I? Because I think I brought it up a couple of Fridays or Sundays ago, whenever it was, or Saturdays when we were talking, that I was at 300 days perimenopause, and then I had my period, a regular, normal period, which I didn't really correlate, but since we write stuff down, I went back and looked, and I hit my BMI of, which BMI is BS, but anyway, BMI of 22, but body fat of 25%, September 30th. So I hit my goal September 30th or 1st, September 1st. And my period came back 30 days later on September 30th.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? So I didn't even correlate that until like, you know, a week ago or something like that. Cause I'm kind of like, oh, am I going to have it again? So maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't know.
Did you go the whole year?
No, because it would have been a year the middle of November, Veterans Day.
Middle of November. Okay.
Yeah, so I went 300 days.
Yeah, you start over.
I started over. Yeah, I'm on September 30th. So
isn't that now? Someone told me that they heard this on another channel, and I don't know, but they said like if you go that long and then you have a cycle, you should get it checked out. And you know, just to make sure everything's okay. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I'm sure somebody will say that in the chat. And I don't know, I guess someone had an experience with it. I always say, you know, when something is different about what goes on with me, I'm going to go to the doctor because I'm just, you know, I'm alarmed. And I think that that's one of the reasons why that cycle is the first reason why people jump on it, where you could have had night sweats and everything else could have been going on. But that irregular cycle is what prompts people to, you know, take action, because we're so used to the, you know, having that regular cycle, you know, that 28 or 30 days. I know for mine, it was like routine. As soon as it, you know, stopped being routine, I thought something is going on here. And so I was, you know, talking to my doctor, and I was tracking mine on this app called Maya. MAYA, if anybody wants to, you know, if you want to track your cycle. So I like taking that information to the doctor. And I've been doing this for, I don't know, for so long. I don't even know if it's been, 5 to 10 years, but just having that information is just helpful because, they always say, when was your last cycle? And I could tell my doctor how long they were, like how many days they were, because it kept track of that. So that was helpful for me. And that was one of the first things I knew that something was going on because my cycle was out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you guys, was there, so, we know we hear that menopause kind of changes your relationship with your body and how you're functioning. And so when you were able to get treatment, when you sought out treatment, what was that difference like for you, Dr. Bobby? How did it make you feel? And, is that something that you wish you had done earlier, or just tell us about the treatment you were able to get?
I wish I had done it earlier, but instead, how you said when something's different for you, you'll go right to the doctor. I'm the opposite. I'm the just rub some dirt on it, just ignore it, it'll go away. I've just always been that way, which isn't good. But so I didn't really seek out help until that year and a half ago when I started hormones. And I wish that I had done that sooner. It would have helped a lot. And what was the other part of the question? Was it about my body?
Yes, so how does your body feel now that you've been taking your treatments and all of that? So
much better. The first piece of the puzzle was the hormones, and the second piece of the puzzle was the GLP-1. The hormones, I kept hurting myself, not joint injuries where I needed surgery or anything, but my joints, I kept getting sore knees and hips and stuff from exercise, and that had never happened to me before. And it turns out it stopped happening once I got on hormones because the estrogen,
Same here.
Really? Okay, yeah.
It would just be like, what's wrong with me? Why does my shoulder hurt? Because I turned this, put it up like this and now it hurts.
Right. I put some cereal away like that. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that first piece was feeling so much better after hormones, and then I still couldn't lose weight, and my weight kept creeping up. And after the GLP-1, now I can lose weight so slowly, but it's still it's taken me 9 months to lose 25 pounds, but I'll take it.
That's awesome.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Especially when you couldn't lose and was even gaining, before.
Yeah. And I'm eating more now than
right.
I was doing 1,400 calories and exercising and gaining weight. It's that's crazy. And I eat more than that now and I'm losing weight. So yeah, the hormones were all off and the GLP-1s kind of balanced that.
And I love that you said you're eating more and you're still losing.
Yeah.
So people aren't afraid to eat.
So I do feel much better in my body. And I also just have this new appreciation and respect for how powerful hormones are. I think I don't know, I kind of took them for granted.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, what about you, Mel? So you went on, your doctor put you on something right away. I feel like yours was more, maybe not thought out by you, but by your doctor, boom, boom, boom. She had a plan for you, because you had the surgery and everything. So that was great. So you started out with the HRT, not the BHRT. Is that right?
Yes, I started out with BHRT even way back then. And then fast forward more in recent years, I am also on BHRT. So I've always only been on BHRT. I wish I had stayed on BHRT the first time when I was younger, but for some reason in my 30s, my doctor just didn't think, I don't know what she thought. If I could, I may reach out to her, Tracy. She's in the Fairfax area, Northern Virginia. I might reach out to her and ask her because we really had we had a great relationship. She was incredible. I referred a lot of people to her after my ordeal. I'm going to ask her that question because I don't know why after 9 months she pulled me off of that patch that I was on. I was on a BHRT patch, which was estrogen and a little bit of progesterone as well. She pulled me off after 9 months. I was in my 30s. I don't know if that's why, but I did start again, as everybody knows, So now I have my little hormone stack, including, I know people hate this, but I'm going to say microdosing, because, I have access to the quick pin because my doctor has a connection in Canada. And so right now, as it is, I take Manjaro quick pin. So I go between 2.5 every 3 weeks and 5. So I'll do 2.5, then 3 weeks later, 5, 2.5, 3 weeks later, 5, and so on and so forth. So that's how I'm dosing right now. And then that stacked with my hormone replacement therapy, I've never felt better. I literally feel the best I have ever felt, people. I am in my 50s and I'm deep in them. Like, me and 50s, we're friends, right? So I feel great. I just feel so good. Like, I can't even. Anybody who knows me, I'm an advocate. And Dee Dee, you already know what an advocate I am. I'm literally going to be going to a conference. Dee Dee might mention it later. And I'm going to meet some of these people I look forward to in the menopause and midlife wellness space. So super excited about that.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited for you to come back and share, and we're going to talk about it on the channel. So let me ask you, so what was the time period that you were off of when she pulled you off? How long was it before you got back on something?
I got back on something initially after, I think it was 8 years, about 8 years. So, and then was off again for a couple of years and then back on. So it was,
Feel the difference in how you were feeling on versus being off?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I re-entered hormone BHRT was when I had started picking up weight, because I was never really what people would call, I wasn't obese. But I had gotten to the point where I was overweight and I was carrying it all in the middle, which I had never done. I always had like and I was doing all the things just like these ladies said, Orange Theory Fitness. I mean, it was really ridiculous. Now, mind you, I wasn't doing the right exercises. If you're not resistance or strength training, then you're out there running and you're in your middle age, what you're actually doing is making your cortisol shoot up, therefore slowing down your metabolism instead of building muscle, which is metabolically active. In other words, the more muscle you have, the higher your RMR, which is your resting metabolic rate. And that means you're going to burn calories more. So if you're doing zone 2 walking and you're doing some strength and resistance training, you got it figured out. Trust me on this. # not a doctor, but I do listen to the world experts. So yeah.
Yeah, another thing I want to add to that too is that, that cardio and that jumping around, especially when you're at a 200 plus pounds, and I mean, it can be even, 150, that stresses your joints out. And that's why a lot of people have bad knees and injuries because, they're trying to do the cardio and they're running. Just imagine running on that pavement, what it does to your joints, running on even a treadmill. And so I think to get down smaller before you do the cardio to that degree, I think it's going to be so helpful for your joints. And you can do things to bring your heart rate up, because that's one of the great things about cardio. But you can do that in a chair. You can sit in a chair and get your heart rate up. You don't have to do all that pounding on your knees and your joints.
There's so many low impact things you can do that
for sure. Okay, Kate, that question's for you too. So, just what was the difference in how you were feeling pre-treatment and post-treatment?
I really feel like, because I got to think about this, because again, mine was so quick, when I waited from May till January to talk to a doctor about it. Right. So that's not quick. I mean, that's over a bunch of months, but I really felt like I had fallen off a cliff, or that an alien had invaded my body and was just, invading me and then blowing me up. But, I just did not feel like myself. This was not me. I was doing things differently. My kids were noticing, and I think back to like elder women in my family and my community, and I'm like, that's kind of, we went, well, that's the beginning of the end for them. They're hitting old age or whatever. Yeah, they would have been around 40s and 50s, right? And so I just felt like there was something wrong, to the point I was getting seriously worried, about maybe it was something beyond that, just perimenopause. But thank God that's all it was, right? But really, that's how bad it felt. I just totally felt like something inside me was wrong. And everything has given me back. It's been, I started, like I said, the hormone replacement therapy this January. I started Zepbound in March. I immediately, my average weight loss was like 1.7 pounds. And again, I was doing, resistance training in the zone 2, hiking, walking, and all that other stuff. And I was already eating well. I honestly didn't eat enough in the beginning just because I'm not a big eater. And when you start on the Zepbound, right? And so every week, every 2 weeks, every shot, every patch, I felt a little bit more like myself again. And I totally feel like, I kind of feel like from 47 to 51 didn't happen, right? It was just like a bad time. And, it's great. Yeah, I feel like I'm back in my early 40s again. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so I'm looking
really
forward to my experience. I don't have a treatment plan yet because I'm in the process of changing doctors. Or I don't know if you guys remember that, but so I still have that situation where I am changing my doctor, and I'll talk to my primary care physician about all this the next week. But the earliest appointment I was able to get in, because I thought this time I'm going to schedule with someone that is an advocate for women's health, or someone who is knowledgeable about menopause. And so that's what I've been waiting to do. So I couldn't get into this doctor until in December. So I got to wait until December. But I said, that's okay. I'm holding strong, and I'll talk. It's kind of, I've had some other pieces to add to this mystery with my doctor going on. So I'll save that for another video, because I really want this to be a celebration. I don't want that to bring my spirits down. All right. So can you guys tell us, do you have like a funny moment? And then after this, we'll go into the chat. So we have questions. We'll play a little bit of game, play another game, like a little fun game, and then we'll head out of here. So can you tell us what's your do you have a funny moment or an unforgettable moment that had to do with menopause that maybe affected you, your kids, your husband, your spouse, anything that you can share?
I have one.
Okay.
It was funny at the time. I don't know if it'll be a funny story, but it was when I was having hot flashes, and they happened enough that I knew exactly what was happening, and I stopped kind of saying like, "Oh, did someone turn the heat up in here? What is going on?" I just kind of knew like, "Oh, I'm having a hot flash." So my husband and I were in the living room, and I don't remember if we're reading books or watching TV, but we weren't interacting with each other. We were in the same room, but like not looking at each other. And at one point he just looked over and just started cracking up because I was sitting there in just a bra and underwear. Whereas the last time he'd looked at me, I was like dressed like a normal person. Just like, what is happening?
That is funny.
Hot flash.
That's funny.
That is funny. Mel, do you have a story?
The only thing would be is when I was, like I said, still pretty young, and I woke up in the middle of the night after coming home from surgery and was in a night sweat and ended up having to change the sheets twice. And my fiance at the time, who we lived together, was like literally sitting on the sofa, because we had a sofa in the bedroom, and he's over there like half asleep, and I'm changing sheets, and this was twice. But I didn't know what was going on, and he couldn't help me because he wasn't paying attention clearly to the doctor either. But yeah, I don't know if it was funny, but it was kind of funny to see him over there, poor thing. But yeah, other than that, no, because really since then I haven't had those issues, thank God. Yeah, so.
Kate?
I'm racking my brain. There was nothing freaking funny about any of this.
Okay.
Yeah, no, none of it. But I do have to say that, in a positive note, because I started doing all this, digging and research and find out things for my own, I found you and the whole community, and that has been wonderful. So You know,
Oh.
that's not funny. It's just wonderful, and you'll have to live with it.
Yes, we love you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm going to tell you my funny story. I have a ton of them, and they all really revolve around brain fog. But this one just happened recently. You know, I'm looking for my glasses, and I'm like, okay, I said, I really want to wear these glasses. Like, where are these glasses? I'm looking for them, because when I'm on my phone, I can see, you know, the print is so much bigger. I'm like, why do I struggle some nights trying to do this? I either try to do my comments at night before I go to bed or early in the morning. But this time I had time. So I'm like, okay, during the day. So I'm like, let's look, Libby, we got to look for my glasses. Where's my glasses? I'm like all in a panic looking for these certain glasses. And she's like, Mom, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, where are my glasses? Have you seen them? She's like, they're in your hand. Like, what? Here they are. And I mean, I'm like thinking to myself, didn't I feel them? Didn't I know something was in my hand? Why didn't I think to look down? But that has happened to me over the course of time. You know, I'm looking. You know, last week I was looking for my cell phone. No, it was during parent teacher conference week, because I was parked in a spot where, you know, it's darker. And so I wanted my team partner to walk out with me, and he was like, okay, I'm ready, we're ready, right? And I said, oh yeah. So I said, I can't find my phone, and I had just put the phone in this particular place. So we went to the bathroom, we're looking all over, it was right in my lunch bag where I put it. I couldn't remember, and I had just put it there like 5 minutes ago. So I can't wait to see what the difference is when I finally get some sort of treatment going on here with the brain fog of it all, because I mean, my brain is like my biggest asset, I believe. And I'm like, I can't remember what I did yesterday sometimes. And it's not consistent, though. It doesn't happen all the time. It's just so sporadic. So, but let me see. We have a comment in the chat from Pam. I call her Pammy Whammy. Manjaro Journey with Pam. She said, Dee Dee, I love that you made the menopause banner. And these ladies were trying to help me before we started. So I don't know if obviously somebody can see it, but I tried to make a stash. Here it is. It really said birthday queen. And then I tried to make it say menopause queen. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's what it is. That's what it is. And it's funny because Mel and I, we were looking, and because we, you know, it's kind of like a last minute thought, we had to get a banner. They wouldn't have come to have it custom made. It would have been after this date. So I should have thought about it a week sooner, but that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. We tried. So yeah, my daughter was like, that is so cute. It's like
It is cute.
little menopause banner here. All right, so do you guys notice any questions in the chat? Any questions that we can answer?
I want to clarify that I saw some comments that it sounded like sometimes I don't enunciate well, and I guess it sounded a little bit like I said I was sitting there in my brown underwear. I said bra and underwear.
Okay. And I thought you said brown underwear too. I did.
Bra and underwear. My underwear is not brown.
Okay, all right. So I don't know. I think this question is for Mel. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah, I see that, Grace. Yeah, I don't know if she was asking me specifically. She may be talking about random bleeding. I actually, for me, we did look at multiple different options. There was uterine ablation, myomectomy. There were several different options, but for me, because my fibroids were all over, inside my uterus, on the wall of my uterus, outside, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to have any children, like my uterus couldn't be saved. It just didn't make sense to keep a cervix, keep ovaries, take the risk of having something else happen like endometrial cancer or ovarian cancer. So, you know, it was just such a hot mess. So for me, the right solution was a total abdominal hysterectomy. And I wish I had done it a few years earlier, quite frankly. I ended up not being able to have children, but that's okay. You know, God has a plan for us all. I have nieces and a nephew who I spoil like they're my own. So I'm good. But that's my story. And so, yeah, ablation was not an option for me. These fibroids had to go, and because of where they were, that meant my uterus and everything in there had to go. So.
And I know fibroids, especially, you know, in the African-American community, it's a huge thing because I feel like we are diagnosed with them a lot sooner or more often, than any other, group. And I feel like a lot of times I hear my friends say like, oh, well, the doctor said they're so small, you can wait. And then, or they'll say like, they're big, but they're not an issue, especially if they don't want to have children. And so I wonder, at what point did they see them along the way? Because a lot of times the ones
Yes.
I know have surgery, they see them along the way and then they wait on them and then they just get big. It's like, should they remove them when they're smaller? I was going to talk to my new gynecologist about this, because when I checked into, I was having that irregular bleeding. I told you I went to the doctor because and it was irregular, but I mean, it was heavy. Like, I mean, it's so heavy that, I would sit on my couch. My couch is a red leather couch. And when I sat on there in less than an hour, and I could feel myself being wet, but I thought, this cannot be. I just put on, a super tampon, which I don't even like wearing, tampons, but I had to because it was that heavy. And when I got up, I was drenched. So I couldn't go to work because, it's just like within an hour, I would have been so embarrassed, And so I just thought like something is going on. So I requested to have a biopsy. And one of the things that I was told was that they didn't see fibroids. Well, then come to find out, when I met with my doctor, she said, well, you had some tiny ones. And so, and I just wonder, like, do they, I guess they're not harmful, especially if, you're not,
They're not. Well,
pain or anything.
yeah.
But I wonder, at what point do you say to the patient, like, you need to act on this? Because I feel like a lot of times they go untreated and then it's too late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, Dee Dee, I had 2 male doctors prior to, and I literally was in a lot of pain and discomfort and bleeding so erratically that I ended up going to a 3rd doctor, and that's when I found Tracy. So even back then with the fibroids, I was advocating for myself, and Tracy kept it real with me. And she was like, look, I would never take a chance for a woman to have children away from them. This is exactly what she said to me. She said, I have 3 of my own, but where these fibroids are, and the other issues with endometriosis, she was like, we cannot save your uterus. And if we can't save your uterus, why would we take a chance of just removing fibroids from it? My uterus would have been like Swiss cheese had they gone in there and surgically removed the fibroids. So, I mean, I was thrust into menopause, but, I felt so much better. I wish I had taken care of it earlier, but 2 male doctors were telling me, oh, I have plenty of patients with fibroids who have children. Oh, a lot of times they shrink. Oh, this, oh, that. And I finally found Tracy, and she kept it real with me.
Well, very good. Again, the key is having that doctor, right? That's knowledgeable, that knows a woman's body and how it works. And I think that is like one of the best things you could have on any kind of health journey, is a great doctor. So this comment was, it's so sweet here and heartfelt. It says, this is so helpful. My mom went into early menopause at 40s due to cancer, so I can't use her as my gauge, but I am equipped with alternative info thanks to you guys. Appreciate these panels. Thank you for that. And that's why we think the panel is so important, to just talk about it. And I always say knowledge is power, but the next step to that is you got to do something with the knowledge, right? You got to have action behind it. So you have to act on it. And I think that's, what the message we want to get out. And then Grace is so funny. She's always at Disney. Look what she said. Between horse pee, hormones, and lizard venom weight loss, trolls will say we are one spell away from turning into a Disney villain.
Yes.
As long as we get the superpower.
Yes. I'm here for it.
Me too.
That's so funny. Okay, so any questions in the chat? Can you guys see the chat? I saw the one that stood out.
I'm not caught up.
Yeah.
It scrolls.
You answered. You answered. Pammy Whammy. Mel. I saw that one. Okay, here we go.
Can I ask? Have any of you read Dr. Mary Claire Haver's book, The New Menopause?
I'm reading it now. I'm going to be meeting her, and I plan on getting my book signed.
Yes.
So Dr. Vonda Wright, who's an orthopedic surgeon,
I love her. She's my favorite.
she's hosting something called Menopause Health Conversations. She does it every year. It's in Orlando. And so it'll be held the weekend of the 13th, 14th, 15th. And there were no regular tickets left. So I bought VIP tickets. So I'll get a chance on Friday night to go to a reception, meet Dr. Haver, Kelly Casperson, Dr. Rocio Salas Whalen is her name. All of those ladies, Dr. Wright, Dr. Vonda Wright. I'm so excited. Okay.
That's so awesome.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm excited like I'm going.
I
know, right?
Right.
I want to hear all about it.
Okay, I will let you know. Huh?
Do you have a YouTube channel?
No.
I want to hear all about this conference.
Well, I'm on your email list. We'll get in touch via email because I get your newsletter.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but I do highly recommend that book to anyone who is watching this and just thinking, like, oh man, I don't know much about menopause either. You know, I didn't know that all this stuff could happen. Like that book was
incredible.
that helped inform me. And I ended up like actually making a doctor's appointment to talk to someone about hormone replacement, which is a huge step to make a doctor's appointment.
And her book, by the way, her new book, The New Perimenopause, will be coming out in 2026. Yeah, I just thought I would share that.
Yeah. She's not she's the real deal. Like she's based in like research and she doesn't make weird outlandish claims about anything. Yes. I love that. Yeah. About her.
Well, so Grace says, any specific diet you notice help manage perimenopause or menopause symptoms? And I'm going to tell you, this is from Dr. Mary Claire, Harvard. She says that you should focus on nutrient-rich, anti-inflammatory foods that support your body's hormones. So, and the transitions that we have. So she talks about healthy fats, and I'm sure you ladies are eating some of these: avocados, olive oil, sesame oil, MCT oil. Does anybody use that?
I love MCT oil.
Fatty fish such as salmon, trout, and tuna. Love tuna, love salmon. I'm not a trout lady, but these are all going to help reduce inflammation. She talks about lean and quality proteins. So some of those are eggs, chicken, turkey, fish, tofu, and lean beef. Of course, we know protein supports that maintenance for your muscle. It supports your metabolism, and it also keeps those hunger hormones down, which we want to do that. She also supports low glycemic. So if you're a diabetic, this is something that's helpful. Fiber-rich fruits and vegetables. So your leafy greens, spinach, which I love, kale. I just had this great kale salad from Whole Foods. It was excellent. I'm going to buy it again. It came in a little bag, so I'm going to go get some more of that. Broccoli, cauliflower, berries provide vitamins. We know minerals, that fiber that's going to stabilize the blood sugar and support your hormones being balanced. She also likes those seeds and nuts. So flax seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and walnuts. And I can say I eat all of these now. Pumpkin seeds I should be eating more of. Somebody told me to do this, and I think this is a great trick, and I just haven't been to Trader Joe's. I think if you have a Trader Joe's in your area, they have the best and like the most besides Whole Foods, but Whole Foods is more expensive. But Trader Joe's just has such a big selection of nuts, and they have every kind of nut you can think of. They have the raw nut, the nut that has salt, the nut that has low salt. They have the different flavors, and I'm not into the flavored nuts of it all. But I guess if you were really trying to be creative, it could be helpful. Those are great snacks. She also talks about eating beans, lentils, whole grains. And I love how she still talks about eating whole grains and carbs and not just like cutting carbs. And I was watching her in an interview here recently, and she was not a fan of keto. And so I know we have some keto lovers, and if that's what you do with the, with the advice and under the guidance of your doctor, I think that's great. But I also think that carbs have a place, especially for us who need energy, right? When we're going through menopause, that's one of the benefits of carbs. It gives you energy. So she doesn't talk about eliminating those, but just, choosing healthier carbs. Foods to limit, which we kind of know is anything that has those added sugars, refined carbs, highly processed foods that are going to spike your insulin levels and your cortisone levels. And she also says avoid these. And, I love me some corn. I really don't eat it, but I love corn. But she says avoid inflammatory vegetable oils. So like corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. I remember a time where they thought they were saying vegetable oil wasn't good, but these other kind of oils were. And we have since learned that that's not, going to be the best thing for you to do, because they also can worsen your hormonal imbalance. So, but corn is also is one of those things where, I debate about, should I eat corn or should I not eat corn?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Mel loves corn. You eat corn. And I love a good corn on
Corn,
the cob.
every avocado and corn probably is a part of my daily diet. I don't know why. I mean, and of course, different greens, spinach, cauliflower, broccoli, and all that stuff. But I eat good too. Whole grain. I love how I eat.
What's
And I
wrong
treat
with
myself
corn?
every now and then.
What's wrong
Huh?
with corn? I
What was
treat it
that?
like a whole grain.
Okay, good.
I
So
know
you could
people. Thank
well,
you.
that's the thing. I think people, it's a little higher in carbs, and I think people eat it like it's instead of the veggie, right? Like they
Yeah.
like
Oh,
they're,
well, yeah, you can't do that.
I don't
and it's
consider it a veggie really, even though I mean I know
Yeah.
it is. I eat
Yeah.
it like it's a carb.
oh, good.
And
Okay.
actually, the stuff you were reading about the diet that Dr. Haver recommends does sound very much like a Mediterranean diet,
Doesn't
Yes.
it?
which
Yes.
is all about you don't avoid carbs, but you eat whole grains, fruits, and vegetables for your carbs. And it is really hard to overeat, like brown rice or something like that. Whereas you can overeat carbs if it's white bread. Like you can just eat that forever because it doesn't really fill you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do
It's
try
good.
to kind of generally eat a Mediterranean-ish diet to answer Grace's question.
And she advocates, I love this. She says that every meal aim for a lean protein, a healthy fat, and plenty of colorful vegetables. And that is not to say don't put a carb on there, but I always say if you're eating all those other things, that's going to give less, room to have that carb, whatever that carb is, right? Because you're eating all those, you got to get all those other things in there. And if you're eating your protein first, you're not probably eating a lot of that carb. But if you're going with the sweet potatoes, I think that's good. The lentils, that's good. That's a carb.
Those are
You
really
know,
healthy carbs.
Yeah, like brown rice. I know steamed white rice. Some people like that, but I like a brown rice. A little bit better. So those things are going to be great. She says avocado, the nuts, and Greek yogurt. So we want to just prioritize that protein. Anything else that you guys are eating that you want to share? But I think we said some good things. Yes.
I actually do, just not about what I'm eating, but I think you skipped purple bellflower, better known as Nicole's. She had a question. Do you need to be, I thought it was a good question. Do you need to be on treatments if you're not experiencing symptoms? And if you're not experiencing symptoms, can I answer this, Dee Dee, or do you want to take it?
Go right ahead.
Okay. So it's funny that you asked that. I talk to my doctor a lot. I text her. This is a question that I asked my doctor for my younger sister. And my doctor said, not necessarily. However, there are people talk about hot flashes and night sweats and brain fog and frozen shoulder. Kind of a lot of those things are the physical manifestation of perimenopause and sometimes menopause as well. The issue really is that there are things happening in your body that may not physically manifest. And whether you like it or not, if you are a woman, it will happen. Bone loss, and what we know is that estrogen actually stops the loss. It can't, and there's no study saying that it builds bone, but it can blunt the loss of bone, muscle, sarcopenia, your heart health. We know that estradiol, not a doctor, I'm going by what like Dr. Haver and Kelly Casperson have said. We know that estradiol is, and my doctor happened happens to be a cardiologist by trade as well, even though she's a certified menopause doctor, DiPietro Health here in Fort Lauderdale. But yeah, so it's protective as well. So I guess the short answer, Nicole Bellflower, is no, you do not. However, as you progress in your journey, and you may want to consider it just to maintain bone and muscle and heart health and all the other things that we know that estradiol does, and collagen protection and things like that. Estrogen receptors are from the tip of our head to the tip of our toe. We have estrogen receptors. And let's not even talk about GSM, the genitourinary symptoms of menopause, better known as GSM, where you might be moist on the outside. For example, you have a partner, you want to be intimate, and then as soon as they enter you, and this isn't a male-female relationship I'm talking about, as soon as they enter you, it's dry. A lot of older women end up developing and dying of sepsis because they have an injury or some other issue in the hospital, get a urinary tract infection, and end up dying. And a lot of it is tied to the infection from a UTI. So there are things, like I said, let's not forget this, women. It's not about the hot flash. This is beyond the hot flash. This is top of the head, tip of the toes. So that's my answer.
Yeah, and I think that's a great answer. The loss of your bladder control, that's a symptom too. And I think people just think like, oh, it just comes with age, but there's a reason why you're having that, where you laugh, you giggle, and you slip, and you go, right? And, that's also tied to your estrogen as well. And I will say, I'm not married, I've been engaged twice, but I'm not married, but I do have a lot of married friends, and they complain of not wanting to be sexual with their husband, not wanting to be intimate, not having a sexual appetite at all. And that's also a sign of low estrogen in your body too. Like you're not wanting to, you're not getting aroused, you're not being turned on. And just think of all those things are going on with your body. Why wouldn't you? And so I think if you're in a relationship and you're not feeling like you want to be intimate with your husband, and it's not because he's doing other things, right, that is annoying you, but just because physically you just don't want to, I think that's a reason to seek out treatment. Because you hear a lot of times where men stray off and cheat, or they say like, my wife doesn't want to have be intimate with me, and my wife is we don't, we're not intimate anymore. And I think it's because, not because she doesn't want to, but physically she just probably can't, and she's probably afraid that it's going to hurt and all of that. So I would say get that checked out if you're experiencing that. I think women think that that's normal, and it is if you're not doing anything about it. But I think that's one of the symptoms that is not talked about at all, is having those sex problems. And we hear a lot from the male perspective, because we always think like, the man has to be erect for things to go down, but also the women have to be juicy down there for things to go down and feel right, and for her to want to do it. And so if you're not feeling juicy down there, that's a reason to go and get checked out too. It's not just those other things that are important, but I also would say in a healthy relationship, being intimate is important too. And so, and I think that's a reason to go get checked out. And you might, your husband might be after you, but you go get these treatments, and you might be after him.
And I read in an article or a study that there are approximately 400 to 500 different symptoms that women experience during perimenopause and menopause. So if you just don't feel like everything's like it used to be, right? Because, I mean, we've only talked about the big ones, we may have had symptoms we didn't realize were symptoms, that they were something, we thought they were something else. If the list is that long, then definitely, I don't think you need to track it to, just your cycle.
Right.
You feel like you're off in 500 different ways.
Yeah. So you know your body, we all know our body. We know when we're feeling different. And when you're feeling different, you need to do something. And a lot of women will act. And I will say, men that, the studies show that men who are married or in a relationship, a partnership, or, just men in particular, because usually they're not going to the doctor and getting that preventative care as much as a woman will do it. So you have that wife or that girlfriend that's going to nudge you to do that. And so it's so helpful. So women have to also do that. And I feel like women do go and we're more proactive. But what a woman will do is when you get discouraged with that doctor, especially if it's something you didn't already want to do anyway, you'll kind of take that advice, if the doctor kind of puts it off, you'll kind of not do anything and not act. And whereas what you should do is be looking for another doctor, right? You should be looking for another doctor that's going to listen to your needs. And, we have to just all be willing to do that. We have to be willing to put the work in, to find somebody that's going to listen to us and act on what we're saying is going on with our bodies, and not just say diet and exercise. And even taking the GLP-1 is still not the only thing you need to do, right? Because that's going to help you, but it's not going to it's not going to bring your estrogen back. Like GLP-1s they don't do that. So that's where you're going to probably need to seek some other treatment out to help. And that could be, if you're in a stall or a plateau, or things are still going on with your weight loss and you're doing all the things, it may be that you need to look at your perimenopause, menopause symptoms and how to treat that. So, well, that was great. Great advice, ladies. All right, so let's lighten this up. Let's play another little game really quick, and then we will be ending for tonight. Okay, let me find my game. So I'm just going to read a statement, and I just want to know from you in the audience, the chat, I want to know if it's something you've experienced before. Hold up. Wait a minute. I think we have a guy. Do we have a guy in the chat? I thought I saw a guy in the chat. Hey, Beverly.
Darian.
I thought I saw.
Darian.
Darian was there.
I went past his little head. Okay. All right. So this is how this works. So I'm going to read a statement. And if we were together, this would be kind of like a bingo. But since we're not together in person, we're just going to have to make it work online. So I'm going to read a statement and just let me know if this has happened to you. And you can just say yes or no, either one. Yes, a Y or an N. If it's happened or not. And then the panel, I want you to also participate. So, what about this? Okay, I gotta go get this. So my first question is, do you carry a fan around in your purse? Or if you're a guy, are you carrying a fan? Because men go through andropause as well. Are you or are you not? I want to know. Okay, here is my fan. Oh, no. Did you know I got this fan and it's not, it broke, but I
It makes you want to sing. Wear them fans. Got my boots on the ground, makes you want to sing that.
Yes, it was a cute fan. Move, honey, move out of the way. It was a cute fan, but it's just all torn up. I was like, I'm sending this baby back. But I was like, this is good. I want a smaller one, and I do want to keep it in my purse for when I get these hot flashes. So what do you guys say? Or does anybody have like a fan in their purse?
I have one, not because of menopause. I have one that I just take with me when I travel, because it can get really stuffy on planes. And yeah. You can just charge it with a USB, and it's really small. So I do have one, but I only carry it when I travel.
That's so cute.
It's really good though. Like if anyone needs a recommendation, I should go find it. And
yeah,
actually, hold on, I'll go find it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I had a little one it was like a Hello Kitty. It was my daughter's one, fan, and she would let me use it, and then she broke it. So I'm gonna have to get me a little personal fan. Get myself one. Okay, so people. No one's having a fan in their purse. Okay.
I'm the opposite. I'm always cold. So
I go back and forth.
Me too.
Yeah.
Tips of my fingers freezing.
Yes.
Well, we're on HRT as well. So all of us are on BHRT. So our hormones are stable. So for us, that's probably why.
No, okay, that little fan. Okay, I love it.
Oh yeah.
You said you used
Oh,
Look at that.
that's cute.
No, it came like that. As soon as I opened it up, Pamela, it just
Good.
was like, it just tore. I said, I need my money back for this fan. And, of course, I was trying to get pink for the theme of the day. So, yeah, this baby,
That's so cute.
Yeah.
it's
It
so
was
cute.
like,
It's lace. It's like a little
I
lace
like it.
fan. But, yeah.
I'm looking
Oh,
at the
geez.
TV, by the way. I can see everything better in the TV right there. So
Oh,
that's why I'm looking.
Mariella says she carries a fan in her purse. Good for you. She's like, I'm ready. When you're ready,
Yes.
you don't have to get ready. She said, boots on the ground, no fan. I stay calm. Okay, all right. So what about this one? Oh, you forgot what you walked in the room for. Has anybody ever done that? That's that brain fog that it just follows me wherever I go. So have you ever walked in the room and forgot why you even walked in the room?
Yes.
Okay, Brown Velvet Lady says, I always carry a fan in my purse, but I live in hot Arizona. So there's no room fan, I help myself. I love that. Okay, so look at all these people. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness, geez, Louise. Okay, of course, all the time. And it's so
Yep.
bad when what you're looking for is right in your hand. I mean, geez, Louise. She said, story of my life. A lot. Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Occasionally. Okay. Good. What about this one? Have you ever not been able to sleep, and so you start reorganizing things in the middle of the night? Yes. 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 That's me. Jeez, Louise. You have to have a fan in Egypt. From what I've seen. What? Oh my goodness. No, okay, no, you never been up organizing. I bet you up though, Bellflower. You're up late looking at stuff and probably reading stuff. I can see you doing that. No organizing. Oh, I'm the organizer. I'll get up in the middle of the night and organize stuff. Okay, a lot of people are saying no. Okay, all right. Is
Mine's
anybody?
more like middle of the night is 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm just up for the rest of the day, you know?
Sometimes I'm like that too. Just up,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
I'll
scroll
like
on your phone,
read
yeah.
or I don't really organize. I'll if I'm up, I'll read. Yeah.
Okay, so JC says Zepbound makes me not be able to sleep, or I just stay up late and I'm productive. Okay, yeah, I am up doing something. I feel like if I'm up, I may as well be doing something productive. So it could be organizing, looking at stuff, reading. I'm getting something in. I'm just not laying there trying to go back to sleep, which is what I need to be doing. I think I only get 4 to 5 hours of sleep at night. Cannot fall asleep when it's time to wake up. I don't want to get up. Is anybody else having that? I think that's a big issue, especially in the GLP-1 community. People not sleeping. The real MVP said, "Yes, my home is the most organized it's ever been." That is too funny.
I love it.
So you got energy though. That's a good thing. You got energy when you're up to be able to move around and do something. I figure it's like that active rest that we talk about, right? Pammy, I
Hey,
just got back from
Dee.
wait one second. It wasn't too bad in October, at least in the northern part of the country. Yes, that's right, Miss B. You did go out of town and you went to a wedding. How was the wedding?
Oh,
Jeez, Louise.
nice.
Nice wedding in Egypt, honey, in Egypt. All right, Mel, what were you going to say?
No, I thought I saw another question, but somebody had mentioned something about HRT, BHRT and GLP-1s. And I know that there was a study, and I think it was earlier this year, that showed that there is a synergistic relationship between GLP-1s and BHRT. In other words, the GLP-1 was shown to, in postmenopausal women, was shown to help drive down visceral fat. And of course, the GLP-1 is sort of the mental brain part of that, whereas the HRT actually drives down the visceral fat through its receptor. So anyway, it was an actual clinical study that showed that women who are postmenopausal, who were on GLP-1s and were taking BHRT, lost weight faster. So I don't know, somebody in the chat somewhere said something about that, and I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I also saw a study the other day with the Mayo Clinic had had that documented as well, that it was a 30% more increase in weight loss with someone who was taking a GLP-1 now this GLP-1 was semaglutide. So I can just imagine what the results would be if it was the study also involved with Tirzepatide. And so, yeah, and I found that very interesting. So the two of them teaming up, they're like a tag team.
Well, I can say that I started my BHRT, like I said, 2 months before I started Zepbound, and my weight loss from middle of March through the beginning of September 1st was 28% of my body fat. And on my scale, my visceral fat went from a 11 point down to 4 point. My average weight loss was 1.7 pounds a week. And I didn't lose a lot of muscle at all. I mean, of course I lost muscle because I lost 50 pounds. But yeah, it was easy. I know Grace is always asking me questions because for me, I was already doing all the right things. I think it wouldn't have been as easy for me on Zepbound if I hadn't started the HRT first.
HRT.
I really believe that, because it's just like I was in my 20s again every time, because I used to do a lot of weightlifting, bodybuilding stuff, right? In my 20s and 30s, even in my teens. And I used to be able to just do body composition and change it to whatever I wanted it to be, whenever I wanted it to be. It was so easy for me, until mid 40s. I could do that. I one of those people say, oh, I'll just make sure I don't eat junk for 2 weeks and not drink for 2 weeks, and I'll be back to where I want to be. And so, yeah, no, it felt just like that. Again, like I said before, I really feel like my old self. And I do think it's the combination, the 2 punch of the peptide hormones and the steroid hormones, the estradiol and the progesterone. That's what did it.
Wow, I love that. Oh gosh, you got me excited about it.
Yeah. Get on them, Dee Dee. Get on them.
That is so much. Let me give you some confetti.
Jeez, thank you.
All right, Kate, that is awesome. Awesome. Okay, very good. All right, here's another one. Ooh, who has laughed so hard when you that you cried and you leaked? So you don't even have to do the cry part, but you laughed so hard that you leaked. Like you kind of did a little tinkle and went to the restroom. Jeez, Louise. Pammy Whammy says me. That is too funny. Oh, Cookie says no, she's never done that.
Yeah. Oh, the one thing I didn't bring was my the Vagifem, because I do take the Vagifem. No, unfortunately, I can't show. I love Kate, cracks me up. But yeah, it's a little plunger. I mean, I know you ladies have seen it. And Vagifem is vaginal estradiol. It is not systemic, so it doesn't travel outside of your vaginal region. But just like estradiol does in your body by helping keep you juicy, stimulating collagen, it does the same thing in your vaginal region, keeping things soft. Because remember, your skin ages, the skin down there ages as well. So it builds up those tissues, literally thickens the skin, helps make you more moist on a regular basis, and helps with any urgency. So Vagifem, which is estradiol, but they also have something called Intrarosa, which I believe is DHEA. And DHEA is made in your body, and it's a precursor to estrogen and testosterone. And so it helps to build that up in your body. And in this case, in your vaginal region. So that's a more natural approach, which it's called, like I said, intrarosa. But I use Vagifem, which is a vaginal estradiol. So I just thought I'd mention that.
I love
I
how
love
you
talking
doing
about this.
all the things. All right, so a lot of people that has happened to. Geez, Louise, you had a fantastic time. Okay. Oh my goodness. She said her in-laws were her
You
in-laws,
were fan.
her weight loss, Miss B. Hey, Miss B. That's too funny. Okay, all right. So a lot of people are saying, oh no. Okay. Pam says it was her. No, 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 no. Let's see. Let's see. Pam says she's been having bladder urgency. Okay, some people I can relate to those folks. It doesn't happen a lot. You know, what happens to me is, and I don't know, I guess this could be part of a symptom, but I'll have to go to the bathroom, have like a sense that I have to go. And then right when I get there, it's like I can't hold it. It comes right out. It's like it knows I'm there and it won't let me go. And I'm like, and that happens in the morning. Now, when I'm at work and stuff, no. But like right in the morning, and I don't know it's because I haven't gone for so many hours or what it is, but it's like as soon as I get to that commode, you can forget it. And I'm like, geez, oh man.
Before I started hormones, it happened to me a lot. I really was starting to think like, God, do I just need to wear, panty liners or Depends or something? And on hormones now, it still happens once in a while, but not that often.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Okay. This is the last one. And I guess I kind of know what some of you might say to this one. Let's see. Oh, okay. Wait, I was going to say that and then I went, oh, okay. What about this one? Have you ever had to take a cool shower in the middle of the day? Has anybody had to take a cool shower in the middle of the day? Yes, I could say yes, have had to. What about before your treatment, Kate?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't get any of the hot. And I'm answering all these like as if it was pre.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But.
Okay, a lot of people are saying no. Okay, very good. Okay, a lot of folks are saying no. No, we got some more no's. Okay, Mel Bev says, just saw a comment. She says, oh my goodness, Mel, you are so knowledgeable. You are spitting some health gems tonight. So appreciate your knowledge. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Bev. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Miss Brenda says, I used to smile too hard and spring a leak, but after losing 78 pounds, this no longer happens. Very good. Okay, very good. I
she
love
should get
that.
confetti for that.
Yes, okay, let me give her some confetti. I just saw this comment that tickled me. Okay, bam, confetti and some applause.
All right.
Yay, Miss Brenda. Okay, very good. Now, see, I might lose my place when I get back. Okay, wait, where is that? I saw a comment. Oh, this is so funny to me. She says, my bodyguard, Dee Dee, you are going to be a super diva when you get started on your hormone replacement. You are going to love how you feel in addition to the GLP-1, and it's amazing. And, and thank you for that. Let me give you some confetti because I was thinking the same thing. I might have to wear a cape up in here one day.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking like, geez, oh man, it probably would help me get to my 100 pounds lost quicker if I was doing that. But I don't meet with the doctor until like toward the end of December too. It's before Christmas, but it's close to the end of the year. So that's okay. God has a plan. I'm at the pace I'm at for a reason. So I'm just gonna embrace it. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I love that. Okay, let's see. People are saying, Mel, they appreciate your knowledge on this topic.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Here's Jazzy's comment. You're truly a blessing with your wealth of knowledge on this subject. And she's so passionate about it. And she's experienced it. She's actually using these things. So that's what's very helpful. Because, you know, she has a firsthand account. Doses of Shani says, I wish I could take hormone replacement, but due to history of having blood clots, hormone replacement can put me at risk to have them again. Yes, and that is so true. And we realize everyone can't take it. You know, that's why you have to be under a doctor's care, someone that's knowledgeable. And if you go to a new doctor, make sure they get blood work. You know, don't just go in there and they say, oh, okay, I'm just going to prescribe this to you. You know, make sure you get blood work. Make sure they know what's deficient. They know where your levels are. So that is so important. That is so important. And if you're going to a reputable place, you know, you're going to have someone who does that. But just in case, you know, people who don't know that.
You guys can go to the menopausesociety.org to find a menopause specialist in your area. The menopausesociety.org. And those doctors should be able to also talk to you about natural remedies, even that are non BHRT or HRT, like DHEA, you know, supplementation that can help. But sorry to hear that. I think that was that Shani who made that comment? Yeah. So, but there's other options.
Yes. And, you know, that's one of the first ones they talk about, if your blood clots or, you know, if you had a history of blood clotting. So, yeah, that is a thing. So this leads us into this question. What are the potential side effects of the treatments discussed? All right, Mel, do you want to tackle that?
Yeah, and I'm sure the other ladies could probably talk about that as well. I would say one of the biggest cons when it comes to BHRT would be that you definitely have to have a doctor that knows what they're doing, because if, for example, you have a uterus, I do not have a uterus, but if you have a uterus, you really have to be compliant with taking estradiol and progesterone. Progesterone must be prescribed if you have a uterus. So if you're talking to telehealth companies, et cetera, you have to be careful, make sure they know what they're talking about. Even a brick and mortar doctor's office, sometimes they don't know, because the reason why is because progesterone, which by the way can cause breakthrough bleeding sometimes if you maybe are on too high of a progesterone dose, but it protects the lining of your uterus. And remember, when your lining of your uterus thickens up, it can actually create an environment that can stimulate the possibility of cysts and cancerous cells. So you have to take estradiol with the progesterone. Why? Because the progesterone is protective of the uterus. And the same thing actually goes for birth control pills. So if you guys are out there taking birth control pills actually has a harder systemic hit on your body than BHRT does. So remember that. So some doctors are prescribing birth control pills to women who may not be on them, who come in complaining about perimenopause or menopause symptoms. So anyway, so that's one of the biggest issues. And then the other thing with testosterone, and I'm talking about the big three, estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone. For me, my concern was I didn't want to grow facial hair. I have none, thank God, or excess hair in other parts of my body, underarms, vaginal area. Like that is a side effect. Some women end up getting oilier skin, sometimes pimples. You can also shed some hair if you are taking too much. And so that's why I personally, #not a doctor, do not like, and nor does my doctor like, pellets. So if you talk to a doctor about pellets, make sure you understand that when they put pellets, which is an incision right above your butt, and they put the hormones in there and they disperse in your body over a 3 to 6 months period, everybody's body metabolizes hormones differently. So it's hard to manage, and they can't take the pellets out. So once the pellets are in there dispersing the testosterone, if it's happening rapidly, you might be aggressive, you might grow hair in certain places if it's too much. So you got to be very, very careful. Again, menopausesociety.org to find a certified and licensed practitioner near you. This is very important. So that's it for me.
And I will say, one of my besties is taking the pellets, and she had a lot of back and forth about, a treatment, and she, it used to be a marathon runner, very physically fit, active, and had all this weight gain that Dr. Bobby and Kate described. Like all of a sudden, she just started gaining this weight. So she eventually went on the pellets, and she decided to do the pellets because she said the patch, she was afraid that it would come off, as much as she's working out, just sweating and and all of that. So far she's had a great experience. But one of the things she said she thought, I wonder if I could get her to come on here and chat about it. One of the things she said she thought that it was going to happen was that she was going to lose weight like immediately, and she did not. She didn't lose, weight with it necessarily, but she loves the way she's feeling. She says she's feeling like herself. So I don't know if something has changed, because I want to say she's been on it past the 6 months, but this is the one that's customized, like Mel said, it's customized for your body. They insert the pellets. And she said that she also told me that it's more expensive too, because it's customized, and they're actually putting it in your body. So it's like one of the more expensive treatments that you could get.
Yeah, and you could use this. We know it absorbs in your body slower when you put the gel on your skin. So yeah, this is a really good option. The problem is in the United States, when it comes to testosterone, there is not yet, but it's going to change, I think, next year. There is not a formulation for women. So women have to use the FDA approved testosterone gel, which was formulated for men's dosing. And you have to put on a pea-sized amount on a daily basis. And that's a tenth of what a man takes. A man takes this entire tube once a day. A woman takes a tenth of it.
Question in the chat. Are you answering a question in the chat?
No, I was just finishing answering that other question. Sorry about side effects.
Okay. No, that's okay. Okay. No, that's okay.
But there are some.
I did want to say too, I know a lot of women are put on birth control to control their cycles. That's a thing. And some women I have known in my past that didn't want to do it, but felt like, well, is this, they thought if I didn't get this, eventually I would have to have one of those DNCs where they clean you out. So I would also get a second opinion about that, because there are other ways you could control your cycle without going on birth control. So I just want people to be aware of that, because that's a thing. And when I was younger, that's I always had heavy cycles, and I was put on birth control, which for that reason, that was one of the reasons. And and I think a lot of women are, that's an option because of, just it really does control your cycle, make them predictable. But I also think that it's other options out there, and you kind of have to explore that too, I think. All right, so we're going to go to our last question, unless you guys see questions in the chat, and then we'll wind down here. So my last question is, and let's start with Kate, and then we'll go to Mel, and then we'll go to Dr. Bobby. We'll kind of, go counterclockwise here. If you could crown every woman in the chat, or any woman entering menopause, with one piece of advice, what would it be? Wait, before we answer that, I saw we have a super chat, and I'm not good at tracking these super chats down. So while I notice it, let me go in here. Thank you so much, MVP. She says, just want to say thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your stories and knowledge. This was so helpful. We appreciate that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the super chat. Let's give her a thank you. Here we go. All right, so let's go to Kate, then Mel, then Dr. Bobby. So your advice, if you're crowning someone entering menopause, what advice would you give them, Kate?
I would tell them that, no, you're not crazy. And listen to yourself. And, what is it Mindy always says? Everybody's different and every body is different. So, listen to your instincts, because it is your body, and when it's not right. So, and then that second piece is, and then when you tell your doctor and they don't listen to you, you advocate for yourself, or you find another doctor who will listen to you. So that kind of goes hand in hand. Don't let them tell you you're crazy either. So that's my advice.
Thank you. Great advice.
Mhm.
Mel?
I would say trust yourself. You're not crazy. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And there's something called your internal, I think it's called your internal locus of evaluation. And what that means is trust your own standards for yourself. Do not go with the masses, because oftentimes we hear stuff, we believe it, we don't research on our own. So I would say, yeah, trust your own situation, trust your own experience, and be curious. Somebody said that to me, someone I really respect. She always says, be curious, be curious. And I'm with Kate. If you can't find, if your doctor is not helping you, your OBGYN, your primary care, find a doctor who will. MenopauseSociety.org.
Thank you. Great advice. Again, great advice. Bobby, what would you say?
I would say it's a little bit the same thing, but educate yourself and find a doctor who is on board with you advocating for yourself. And if you have to shop around, shop around. And then on a practical level, if you're not strength training, strength train.
Yes, yes. Great advice. And I'm just going to end that with some great advice too, is advocate for yourself and find a great doctor. Find a doctor that's going to listen to you. Find a doctor that's not going to brush off your symptoms, and find a doctor that's knowledgeable, because you might have a doctor who is just great and, listens and say, you tell them you want to take A, B, or C, and they prescribe A, B, or C. And that might not be the best treatment. And they're just doing it because you asked for it, right? But maybe they don't know what the new and the latest and greatest research is. And so you need to find a doctor who is knowledgeable about not just what happened 20 years ago, but the newest research that has come out in the last 10 years, the last 5 years. So I think you have to also look at that and make that good of a choice, because that's the situation I'm in now. My doctor is very knowledgeable about what happened 20 and 30 years ago. She's not knowledgeable about the new research that's going on. And so I would say find a doctor and you can find a doctor on that website too, that, has all the credentials, but they don't know the latest research. And so I would say you need to also find that. And I think a younger doctor is probably going to be more in tune to that, but I could be wrong, because, I could be wrong. But I think, sometimes we think older and seasoned is always better, and sometimes it's not. It just depends on your situation. So I would say, to me, I'm looking for someone who is very knowledgeable, knows what they're talking about, is knows the latest research. The gurus I bring up, they've read and learned about those people. And then also somebody just kind of like in their, not on the verge of retirement. Because I've heard a lot of people who have told me, their doctors are on the verge of retirement, and, and they're older and they're kind of set in their thinking and their ways. And, there was such a misconception out there that VHRT treatments or RT treatments cause cancer. And I know some doctors who have told people that, and they still believe that, right? So it's like, are they hip to the latest research? Are they knowledgeable about what's going on? And so, so I guess that would be the thing that I would say. I would tell people to get a knowledgeable doctor, not just any doctor. All right. So I just want to close this out before we close with our top. This is supposed to be an inspirational. Does everybody feel empowered? If you're in the chat, I want you to feel empowered about going through menopause, or being perimenopausal and eventually crossing that threshold where you haven't had a cycle for over a year. I want you to feel empowered by this. So I'm going to give you the top 10 reasons why you should celebrate menopause. All right. So number 10, this is like a countdown, like the David Letterman show. Remember David Letterman? Oh man, that's when TV was so good. So number 10, you finally know exactly where every fan, every vent, and every air conditioner is in your house. Number 9 is you can say whatever's on your mind, and you can blame it on your hormones. Remember that song? Blame it on the alcohol. Well, we're going to blame this on our hormones. Number 8, You traded PMS for peace, mindfulness, and self-care. That's what we're going to do. We're going to trade that for peace, mindfulness, and self-care. Number 7, remember how they used to say, like, it used to be a thing not to wear white pants? Well, we can wear white pants any time of the day or week because we don't have cycles. No, except for Kate. Kate, I don't know. What's up, Kate? Hey, Kate. On most days you can, Kate. On most days. Number 6, you stop chasing perfection and start chasing peace. And I feel a sense of being more peaceful, now that I'm on this journey. I really do. Number 5, you realize your body isn't betraying you. You're just becoming wiser. Has anybody felt wiser since going through this stage?
I think so.
I think it's because we're more knowledgeable, right?
Yeah.
Number 4, you've earned a PhD in resilience, patience, and reinvention. Don't you? I feel like, at this stage in your life, when you're over 50 and you could be even older than that, I feel like reinventing yourself and empowering yourself is really like that's what makes the 50s the new 40s and 30s, right? Because we're reinventing ourselves. So I love that. I love how I said we're still hot in more ways than one. Number 3, you care less, and I think this is so true. You care less about what people think and more about what makes you feel good. Isn't that so true?
Amen.
Totally.
I give 0.
That could have been number 1. Number
0
2
F's.
Number 2 is you finally learned the art of guilt-free napping. Remember you used to take naps before and you thought it was like, you felt guilty, like, oh man, I'm taking a nap. Now it's like you embrace taking a nap. You almost need to take a nap. So I love that. And finally, number 1, can we get a drum roll? Is there a drum roll in here? Let me find a drum roll. Oh, here we go.
Oh, you gotta hurry up. There you go.
And finally,
I love that.
The number 1 reason to celebrate menopause is because you're still hot. It just comes in flashes. I love that. I love that. Yes, that's so funny. Okay, so we got to give us some confetti because I think you guys, ladies, thank you for coming here. We have some confetti for the ladies. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your story. I realize we're on YouTube where everybody can see. So the fact that you guys came on here and shared your journey, I appreciate that. And we want to bring, like they say, bring sexy back. We're bringing menopause, talking about menopause. We're bringing it back.
It's so important.
Oh, yeah.
So Mel to the beat.
This is the best time.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And I love that too. Like your daughter, Bobby, niece, Mel's nieces. She has more than one. And Kate, your daughter, they're gonna know what's going on with their bodies, right? Because we're gonna be able to guide them.
Prepared.
Yes, we're going to be able to tell them and explain things to them, and they're not going to be in the dark. And I think it starts with our generation, and we just have to make it better for the next one, and then they'll make it better for the next one, and it'll just go on and on and on. So Mel's going to come back next month, I think, and she's going to talk to us about that conference. Yes. We are excited. You're going to be meeting the gurus. I love that Vonda Wright. That is my girl. So
love her.
I am excited for you and for you to come back here and share. And everybody in the chat, thank you for showing up and participating. We appreciate you. This was great. Ladies, when we close this out, hang on for a second. But we just want to say bye. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow at 2 for my weigh-in.
Yeah,
bye.
that's right.